welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. So Canelo Alvarez is in a bit of a conundrum, I think. You know, he's got a few options on the table. Some difficult fights, some very difficult fights actually, and then some fights that, you know, have passed their sell-by date or aren't particularly the right timing and are kind of almost a lose-lose situation. But we're going to get into all of that in this video.
Boxing.
Okay, shout out to all the subscribers. Big up to anybody new. Apologies if I've been absent on this channel a little bit. I've been getting called into these random gigs last minute, especially on a Sunday. I was supposed to do a post-fight video for Taylor Lopez. I'll talk a bit about that at the end of the video. And I've just been working a lot on other projects and stuff like that, and just the timing of just last minute gigs. So I apologize, but we'll try and get some more videos out for you guys. But in terms of Canelo, there goes the train again right when I'm about to start the video. Canelo, so obviously look, he's got this rumored fight with Jermall Charlo. Now Jermall Charlo is going through a difficult stage in his life, to be honest with you. I've just watched that interview with him and his brother and I forget the guy's name, the two NFL ex-stars in the NFL, Brandon Marshall, and there's another, Deshaun Jackson. Very interesting video. I'll leave the link in the description because it's a very raw version of the Charlo twins, you know. Quite misunderstood actually, those two guys, you know what I mean? But Jermall is definitely going through some shit right now. Pardon my language. I mean, his I don't know what Jamel was saying that he ran into a big demon in his life right now, right? And you know, I've seen him recently, and he sounds a bit drunk in a couple of interviews, and I feel for the guy a little bit because when you've been out the ring a couple of years and he's going through some life issues, and then he's obviously turned into alcohol a little bit, because I know, and like, I don't love repeating stuff like this. I'm generally like, I'm always a bit concerned about fighters when they go down this path. So it's from a place of concern rather than trash talking him. But Benavidez Sr. said, you know, every time he sees Jermall Charlo out, he's drunk. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I have seen him in an interview. It was right before the Benavidez fight, and even in the interview that I just saw, I couldn't tell if he was on something or if he was all right. And I was just like, this guy ain't ready to be fighting. You know what I mean? I thought that before the Canelo fight came up. Now the Canelo fight's come up, and I just thought to myself, no way, man. Unless he needs money, obviously, massive payday. Why would you ever, you know, not want someone to do that? But in terms of Canelo, you know, no one's going to give him any credit for that fight. Nobody's going to get, he's not going to get any credit for that fight unless he looks spectacular and just completely dominates Charlo, knocks him out in a few rounds, but just doesn't barely get touched. No one's going to give, even then, you know, people will say, well, Charlo's, you know, he's been out the ring, blah, 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 he's going through this stuff. Maybe that, I don't know who's picked up on Charlo's mental state right now, because I personally think he's really struggling. And, you know, anyway, so you got that, which is kind of a lose-lose situation, because if he doesn't look really good against Charlo, he's going to get criticized. So he's got the pressure to look really good. Charlo might have been well rested from the ring, you never know. So then, and if he doesn't knock him out, and you know, he doesn't dominate him, or you know, let's just say, either way, he's going to come out that as like his stock's not going to rise, I don't think. Like I said, unless he pulls off a spectacular performance and Charlo looks really good or something like that. I don't know, but that fight was talked about a couple of years ago. That was a really good fight a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But you know, then you've got the B-roll situation, which I think he's been using a little bit to avoid David Benavidez, which we'll get into in a minute. But you got the B-roll situation, which I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's money or whatever. I know he wants to fight him at 175. That is a dangerous fight. I think he will lose that again if he fights B-roll again. He might have an opportunity at 168. if he brings Bivol down. I haven't been paying attention to the negotiations, but either way, that's a tough fight. Even at 168, Bivol seems confident, but he's got a better chance of winning there, obviously. So that's a very tough fight, whatever way you look at it. Then you have this Badou Jack situation, which might be the easiest of the three, but apparently he's asked Jack to come down to 180, which is ridiculous, really. That's absurd, because I know it's still within the, you know, cruiserweight parameter of 175 to 200. To get Jack to come down to that's ridiculous, you know. And I know catch weights are a thing, and I know he's had it done to him, and fighters will do it. He's just had this Garcia Davis situation. I know Pacquiao brought Cotto down, although the Cotto one, I was a massive Cotto fan back in the day, and like I'll follow his career. Cotto was really, he didn't fight at lightweight, but he fought a couple of fights at 137. Most of his career, or at least half of it, was at 140. And then he was in at 147 for like 2 or 3 years, and then he was asked to come down to 144. So that wasn't a big deal for me. But still, catch weights happen. Fighters try to get the edge. It happens at the top level. It will continue to happen. But this catch weight is outrageous. That's crazy. But you can see why they're trying to do it. They're trying to get as much as they can. And, you know, a legacy fight. I keep using these air quotations because, yes, you know, it looks good on paper. It sounds good on paper. And, you know, you're trying to get the weakest champion, really. No disrespect to Badou Jack. But I don't know the cruiserweight division as well as I should, to be honest with you. But, like, you'd if they can get Jack down at a reasonable weight, you would probably favour Canelo. I would. Just from a skill set wise. He's a bit younger than Jack, I think, is he? Yeah, I'd favour Canelo in that fight. And that would be probably his better option in terms of what it would do for his legacy. It'd be another division that he's conquered, get another world title. It just adds, you know, to his accolades. But then you have the David Benavidez fight, which I would love to see that fight. That is such a good fight. I've been saying for a while, I actually think Benavidez would beat Canelo. And yeah, I get that Canelo would outskill him and use his experience and probably win loads of early rounds, counter-punching him and maybe even getting the Benavidez on the ropes. Benavidez likes to back up with his, like, frame in the air, put his hands up, and, you know, Canelo can go to work on a high guard and get a lot of good work done there. And push Benavidez back, really. Benavidez, as strong as he is, he has a lot of balance issues and a lot of footwork issues. And, you know, they still are there. And Canelo, his footwork isn't amazing and his lateral movement isn't amazing either. It's actually not good at all. But, yeah, he would have a lot of good opportunities against Benavidez. But Benavidez starts to smoke in the later rounds. He's younger. I think he's a bit tougher, to be honest. Like, tougher in the sense that he can go, like, to a place that I don't think Canelo can. Just my opinion. Like, I think really if it came down to it and Benavidez was still in the mix and he wasn't getting too beaten up, I think he could really turn the fight around in the championship rounds. I really do. I've thought that for a long time. So that fight, Canelo said that he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. Well, I counted how many he fought already, and it was something like 22. Something like 21 or 22. Now, look, obviously I'm being a bit flippant because, you know, he's obviously going to have to fight Mexicans growing up in Mexico and being from there is some, like, you know, tongue-in-cheek. But nonetheless, he is something like 21-0 against Mexicans. And also, if you're willing to fight the son of a legend, yeah, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., in a farcical fight, I didn't even watch it, to be honest with you, but you're willing to fight him and damage, you know, essentially damage more of a, I say damage more of Chavez Jr. because he's kind of damaged, right? He's damaged the name, in my opinion. Really, he's a bit of a joke, to be honest, for his dad to be such a legend. I mean, he's a massive joke. He's missed weight how many times. He got completely gifted that WBC when they stripped Martinez years ago and just had him fight for I forget that German guy's name. It was a joke. That was a joke. The WBC at it again. But you won't fight David Benavidez because he's Mexican. There's something there. I know they just offered him a lot of money. I didn't I look too much into that because that's not my expertise, reading about all these stuff. I like to just really talk about the fights and stuff like that. But he was apparently made a massive offer. And there's a reason why they haven't made that fight, because David Benavidez is a real threat. He is a real threat because he's there to fight till the end, and he's going to be a problem. And whether or not, I'm sure Canelo absolutely feels like he can beat him, but that's a tough fight anyway. You know what I mean? That's a tough night's work. Canelo's, it's something, how many fights has he had now? 60, 70? That's a lot of fights. To be there's always somebody else too that wants to fight you on their way up and you're on your way down. There's always somebody else to fight. What did Marcus Aurelius say in The Gladiator? There's always somebody to fight. And Benavidez is that guy. So anyway, look, that's it from me. Briefly on Tio. So yeah, massive respect to him on that Josh Taylor win. I got that one totally wrong. Taylor looked completely flat and completely uncreative and unimaginable, and just, I don't even know. It was a weird performance. I'd have to watch the fight again before I talk too much about it, because I watched it once and it was, you know, obviously very one-sided. But Tio, with regards to, well, one thing about the fight is that they were saying, his dad said pre-fight, was, you know, he, instead of going chasing the fight and, you know, trying to basically box, they were boxing, but he was more counterpunching, his dad was saying. And then Tio said after, he's like, he just let the fight come to him. And Josh Taylor can counterpunch, and they took that away from him. They didn't fight on the inside as much as what I thought. And I said, if Taylor gets the inside game going, he's gonna get to Tio, not stop him, but just have his way with him. But Tio wasn't really like engaging in that. He was just reactionary, like twitchy boxing, and it was really good. And he's a very talented young kid, and he's been training really hard for a long time. I've been watching him train on his Instagram, his YouTube, all that stuff, and he's been putting the work in, which is why maybe on top of the turmoil that's going on with his family life, his wife leaving him and taking half his money, his dad is just a constant like pain on him. Did you see that interview when he was having with Mark Kriegel where his dad just interrupted? It was really surreal, but that was like a little glimpse into what he has to deal with sometimes. Out of nowhere, his dad just barges in on an interview and just interrupts it, and it was weird. I don't know, I'll try to find the link and leave it. It was weird. So he's dealing with a lot of stuff. I'm always okay with fighters taking a rest. I really am pro, I don't want to say pro inactivity, but I'm all right with them once in a while. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he'll be back, but he's just taking a break. Anyway, that is it from me. I will try to be a bit more consistent with these videos, even if they're short, quick uploads, just chatting about stuff, and we'll see what fights are coming up. And shout out to anybody that is on the short videos and you're wondering what these boxing cover videos are about. I'm going to get back on doing more shorts as well, more tutorial shorts I'll be doing, so look out for those. And have a great week. What day is it today? It's Monday today. Yeah, I'm going to go to the beach tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Take care, whatever you do. Peace and love.